You know, when people say if you have one bonsai, you really have 10 bonsai because that one tree has 10 different potential designs. Well, this is an extreme example of that. This was all one tree and now it's 9 trees. And today we're going to go through how to do advanced air layering. We'll look at 2 techniques and how to actually do it. Let's get into it. Air layering not only propagates new bonsai, but also refines patterns in the root flare like this. So this pattern is called Nabari. You can see here there's multiple layers and multiple directions of roots coming out. That looks great. Now this could be achieved by just leaving it in the ground and letting it grow like that, or you could take cuttings and propagate it. The issue is you don't start with that design, you have to build it. The way we develop good Nebraska is by doing something called air layering. Air layering is growing roots while the tree is still attached to its parent so that when you finally separate them, you get this amazing root system and structure right off the bat. 2 types of air layering that we're going to talk about today. First is the tourniquet method, which is the most common. Essentially, you put wire around the branch and then slowly choke off the nutrients going to that branch, which forces it to kind of seal off and develop roots. The second method is what I call the ring method. The difference between these two is the tourniquet method is less aggressive. You're keeping the bark on and you're just choking off the nutrients. Whereas the ring method, you're removing a ring of bark and forcing the tree to make roots where there is no roots. So basically you're recutting off the circulation entirely and forcing it to develop roots where otherwise wouldn't have any. A tourniquet method. So this is the one way to do air lay. Here's a demonstration of how it works. B, how to do it. First things first, pick a healthy branch. When to do this? April to May for most deciduous trees is perfect. But keep in mind, for evergreens, you want to wait until new growth starts. After that, you can do it. Basically, you just want to do it before the tree goes dormant for winter. If you wait too late in the season, you might not get roots to form. So you can see here, we've got a nice little branch and I'm gonna do the other side. This is a Chinese elm. You can see the leaves are fully expanded and this is a really good candidate for air layering. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use rubber vine. This is the best thing to use for this. You wanna take a piece long enough that you can wrap it around the branch twice. You can use any size branch for this. I'd say anything over 1/2 inch diameter, maybe even 3/4 inch. This method doesn't work well for really thin branches. You'll see why in a minute. So take your rubber vine, wrap it around the branch, and tie it off. Now the key with this is to wrap it a little bit loosely. You can see there's a lot of room here for the branch to expand and for us to add more layers as time goes on. So that's step 1. After a month or so, you want to add another layer above that. Again, when you do this, you're just going to gradually choke off the nutrients going to this branch. And you can see over time, this will eventually kill the tip of the branch, but it will force roots to form all along here. And once again, this is pretty non-invasive, which is why this is the most common method. However, you do have to wait for the tree to naturally develop roots, which could take 3 to 6 months. So what you're looking for is signs of roots developing. So as you can see here, this branch had roots from the get-go. This is a good sign. So after about a month, you'll see them developing along the nodes of the branch. Once they reach about 1 inch or so, you'll need to loosen the tourniquet to accommodate the swelling. You can see here, this branch developed a lot of roots. So that's a good sign. Eventually, you'll have a lot of roots along this branch. Again, you'll have to loosen the ties as they continue to swell. Keep doing this until the end of the branch dies off, and then you can remove the ties and take the cuttings. Now that's the tourniquet method. The next one is the ring method. This is what I call it. Some people call it the strip method. It's very similar, but slightly different. So the first thing you want to do is pick a branch that's not too old. Again, this is a Chinese elm. You can see the new growth here. This is perfect to do this on. You want to choose a branch with a lot of potential for nabari. So you can see here, there's already some roots forming. So this would be a great candidate. What we're going to do is remove a wide strip of bark down to the hardwood. So you can see here, this is the hardwood. You can tell because it's really dense. And then this outside part, these are the water conducting tissues. So we're going to remove that. This is why you don't want to do this on older branches. If you try to do this on a really old branch, the bark is going to be too thick. You're not going to be able to do it, so just look for younger branches. So now you can see we've removed a ring of bark. The next step is to apply rooting hormone. Now, strictly speaking, you don't have to do this, but I highly recommend it. It just speeds up the process. So I'm going to use this natural rooting hormone. It's made of all natural ingredients. It's awesome stuff. So I'm just going to apply it liberally around the wound. Next, take some moist sphagnum moss and wrap it around the area. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then secure it with plastic wrap. You want to maintain the moisture in this area. You'll see over time roots will start to form. Just like with the tourniquet method, this will take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. I usually check it every couple weeks just to make sure the moss hasn't dried out. All you have to do is mist it if it gets dry. Once the roots start appearing, you'll know you're ready to repot. So this is what you're looking for. You can see the roots are starting to fill out the moss. So this is a good sign. When you're ready to repot, just cut below the root ball. And be careful when you're putting it in the pot. Don't want to disturb the roots too much. You can see here it has a ton of roots. This is perfect. This is what you're looking for. Again, just don't damage the roots. Put it in the pot, backfill, and you're done. Now you can see this has amazing Nebraska. It has so many different directions of roots. You can see all the layers. That's what we wanted. This is going to be an amazing tree. So that's how you do air layering. You can do both of these methods. They're both very effective. The tourniquet method is a little less intensive, takes a little longer, but you can do more with it. You can do larger branches, smaller branches. With the ring method, it's a little bit more intense. You're cutting off circulation entirely, so you're forced to develop roots. You don't get as much choice with this. If the branch isn't ready, it probably won't work. But nonetheless, it's a really fun technique. I love doing it. Go ahead and try it. Have fun.